over Michigan.
Yep.
What are your initial thoughts there? I mean, Auburn has not been covering much. Finally got it done. There's been some rumors. Maybe they got some locker room beef going on, right? They have not looked as sharp, I guess, overall in this tournament or at the end of the season. But big time win against Creighton. Big time win by 12, covering the -8.5. First time they've covered in a while, Jovan. Do you think they run it back, laying this big number against a Michigan team that, by the way, they win and cover every game?
Yeah.
If you didn't know already, I'll go ahead and fill you in. Michigan wins and covers every game. You think that's a lot of points?
Yeah, I think maybe it's a lot, but we haven't seen Michigan get much respect line-wise, so it's not too surprising. But I'll say the same thing that I said at the start of the tournament. It's why, as much as I love Florida, part of that's because everybody and their mother had them as their champion. But as much as I love Florida, as much as I love the other team that they're probably going to end up facing in Texas Tech, I think Auburn's going to win this tournament. Everybody forgot about them, just forgot about how dominant they were at the start of the season because Duke came along and looked absolutely ridiculous. Florida was everybody's new shiny toy. I mean, Houston was just mowing over teams in the Big 12, and the forgotten one seed behind all of them seemed to be Auburn. And they haven't really looked like super, super dominant in the last couple months, and they didn't really in the tournament so far. I think they're the team that shows up and just kind of slides under the radar and wins and covers against Michigan, but finally makes it all the way through. So I'll be standing on that.
Okay. Give me Auburn -7.5. I'll lay it. Might be the only one that does with how well Michigan's played of late. I don't blame the public for probably jumping on Michigan at that number. I don't blame them. But I'll be on the Tigers in that one. Thinking they covered 2 in a row.
Sure.
Okay. Let's talk about Sean Padola. Kid's built for March. Been saying it the last couple of weeks. Look at Sean Padola coming through, showing up, showing out, carrying this Ole Miss team through 2 weeks of 2 games of upsets, right? Nobody thought they'd had a chance against UNC. UNC returned to form after their one good game. And Ole Miss beat them. And then they go on to spank Iowa State. And I know Iowa State's down, potentially, debatably, their best player or their best scorer. I get it, right? You put him back in that puppy and Iowa State, maybe they're making a run to the Natty. I don't know. They have not been the same team when they're not at full strength, I guess is what I'm trying to say for Iowa State. Now, Ole Miss, who had this team going far at all in their bracket? Besides me, maybe, and that might be the only good take I had in my bracket this year with how chalky it's been. So not sitting up here acting like I, figured out a cure for cancer. Might be the only good take I had in the bracket this year. But Jovan, nobody believed in Padola. Nobody believed in a great coach. Nobody believed in this Ole Miss squad that I feel like for the last 2.5 seasons has been a covering machine and has overexceeded expectations greatly. Shout out Coach Beards. Shout out the Rebels. Now, do we think they cover again, Jovan? Looking at this spread against Sparty, looks like a nice short line for Michigan State. Also, right behind Michigan, a team that just wins and covers every game. The Spartans, right?
Really short, I would say. 2.5 is crazy. Now I'll say, like, I was kind of with you in the Ole Miss belief. Part of it was just because, I mean, every single person had North Carolina winning multiple games, and Ole Miss seemed to be one of, I guess, the 2 6 seeds that I really hadn't heard a peep about in the entire lead up to the tournament. So, like, the fact they got a North Carolina team that was as small as them, which is their main problem, and then they got a banged up Iowa State team that really couldn't put it together because of their health towards the end of the season. I mean, they were great matchups, and nobody wanted them. So now it's definitely a lot tougher when you get a much bigger Michigan State team, but it doesn't really look like that when you see Michigan State -2.5.
Yep, I'll be all over Ole Miss here for better or for worse. Now, are we going to have luck fading both Michigan schools who just cover and win every game? Probably not, right? Those are probably going to go 1-1 fading those teams because no matter what the lines are, no matter what sharp guys, it doesn't fucking matter. Michigan and Michigan State win and cover every game, right? But at this point in the season, we got to keep fading, and we got to start seeing some results. Probably going to go 1-1 there, unfortunately. But yeah, you will not see me without a ticket fading Michigan or Michigan State. Has to be done. Give me Padola. Okay, and give me Auburn as well, but we already talked about that. Let's talk about maybe the best matchup of the tournament, maybe the game I'm looking forward to the most. And how about Goots' Terps against the Florida Gators? Ooh, this one's going to be good. Maryland probably doesn't deserve to be here, right? Crazy fucking buzzer beater. Shout out Derek Queen, the Baltimore Kids coming through. I mean, just a crazy play at the end of the game. You couldn't script up a worse shot than winning the fucking hoop for the Terps.
Yeah.
Sprinting out of bounds, sprinting away from the hoop, your big man hitting a fadeaway off the glass, kissing it, and that puppy goes in because that's how the Big 2-5 has treated the Terps. So do. Luck has gone their way. Good to see it happen again the other night. Jovan, crazy buzzer beater. And of course, that's how that buzzer beater bet plays out when they didn't have a no option on the books. It's the Krab 5 that hits the buzzer beater, like Trent was talking about on Twitter. Crazy. But do we think the Terps stand a chance, Jovan, against your Gators? I'm looking at the spread for Thursday, and I'm seeing a spread up to 6.5 for the Gators. Jesus.
Yeah. Whip out the belt. Points. Whip out the belt, Krabs. That's what this is about to be. And I like Maryland. It's just the thing that made that game close in the first place was the one concern with them all season. You make their guards like actually have to make plays instead of just spot up shooters or be spot up shooters. It's a problem because they couldn't really make them for a lot of it. Like I like Gillespie, and he made a few plays when he needed to, but just like when the time came to the time when the buzzer beater happened, Derek Queen had to make a play. These guys off the dribble, whether it's Gillespie, whether it's Rodney Rice, whether it's even a little bit of Selton Miguel, like they're not reliable in these times. And that's what Florida's whole scheme is predicated upon because they have the deepest front court bench and starter group of all of college basketball. And they have size, they have athleticism, they have length, they have everything. So I'm not saying they're going to shut down Reese and Derek Queen, but it's obviously the best matchup that they've had all season. So like these guards are going to have to do something because Florida runs them off the line. They're going to have to take tough twos. Do I trust them to do that? Absolutely not. So as much as I love the Terps, I mean, just disaster of a matchup for them.
Yeah, not looking good with that spread moving. I'd say if it stayed at 4.5, Terps might have a chance, but spreads up to 6.5, probably because all the Sharps have already nuked the Gators, moving that line up 2 points. Not like the Gators played their best ball in that last game either.
Yeah, although one person really haven't played great either the first 2 games. Norfolk covered, and they were hanging in there, playing with them for a while. It's just UConn is so different because their action and how well it worked is exactly what Maryland cannot do. So that's what I have questions about. Like I said, like their whole scheme is make guards take tough twos off the bounce after you run them off the 3-point line. We haven't seen that from Selton Miguel, Rodney Rice, Gillespie, or any of the guards off the bench like all year. So that's my question. Obviously, the Bigs matchup is the Bigs matchup. Toughest one you probably had outside of maybe Michigan, even though like Florida would probably put a little ahead of that. It's just they have more skilled guards or more skilled bigs, I guess you could say. It's a lot on the guards, Krabs.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure on these young guards. Not all of them are young, but on this, the Terrapin guards here who have not been showing up too much when the lights are bright, but maybe we get a Rodney Rice masterclass. He could pull one out. Yeah, I'd say there's less than a 50% chance, but he's going to need to hit his shots. He did not hit his shots the other night, that's for sure. He thought he was fucking prime Paul George.
Yeah.
Sucked. Stunk it up the other night. But the Terps still found a way to win. Good for them. Good for Maryland. But this could be the end of the road. Looking at that spread, I do not disagree one bit, Jovan. Yeah. 6.5 for Florida, probably the right move there. Let's talk about Texas Tech and Arkansas. It sucks we don't have a FAU or San Diego State this year. You guys can expect less of those teams as time goes on, right? As the better teams get better and the worse teams get worse, you can expect less of those crazy mid-majors making it far. But it certainly still sucks. We're sitting here in the Sweet 16, Jovan, and not one small market team is chilling here. I wonder why, right? It's not a coincidence. Now, you still have some upsets. You still have some crazy teams making runs. That's not going to change, right? You might not see as many more FAUs or Mountain West teams making runs, although shout out Colorado State's, and then what do you know? Their coach immediately gets poached, and now their program's toast because that's how it goes in the Big 2-5 now, right? The rich get richer, and the worse get worse. That's not going to get better in the tournaments. But luckily, it's still March Madness, and we still get some crazy upsets. Maybe it's not the small market teams, but Jovan, we got one here. We got a 10 seed still alive, and it's Calipari's Razorbacks. I mean, after watching this team this season, who would have thought? Who would have thought they'd still be here? Probably not many, to be completely honest with you. They're playing some of their best ball right now. Maybe they get Thero back as well. I've been hearing rumors maybe he comes back for the Sweet 16. I don't know if that's something you want to buy into or maybe fades. But Texas Tech here laying 5.5 points after they've shown up they're relatively healthy. I think still waiting for one more guy to return back from an injury, but Texas Tech has impressed so far in taking care of business. Jovan, what do you think about that spread sitting at 5.5 for Texas Tech?
Reeks of a win and no cover, in my opinion.
Mm.
I think this is a game that we might have another buzzer beater moment for, to be honest with you. My one concern, I guess, for Texas Tech, because I love Texas Tech, it's just the last couple of games, if anybody's watched Texas Tech, it's pretty evident that, I mean, we knew this coming in, but they're not healthy. Like Darian Williams looks nowhere close to 100%. You could say that for a couple of the guys in the lineup. They're playing really injured, not moving the same. So, like, their scheme kind of fits keeping Arkansas out of the paint pretty well because they do that to everybody. It's just hard to really have full confidence that they're all full go and can execute it to a level that really gives them like a dominant edge over Arkansas, in my opinion. It's like I don't want to really fade Calipari, to be honest with you. It's just that game I feel pretty certain is going to be close down at the end.
Okay. Yeah, I'm intrigued to grab the points and back the dog here and see how far Calipari can take the squads. Playing some decent ball right now, and like you're saying, Texas Tech, although they got some of their guys back, not at 100%, and you can see it. We'll have to see how many units Trent has on the Hawks as he's cranking them. That could be the difference.
He's always cranking.
Yeah, potentially getting Thero back. RTR, we're going to have to see. There's been rumors, no confirmation, no promises, but there's potential that he'll be back on Thursday. I think he might have been able to potentially play if needed the other day, but they wanted to keep him out for one more game, see if they can maybe get him, use him a little bit more, keep him a little bit healthier for the Sweet 16 potentially if they make it. And what do you know? Another W coaching decision from Coach Cal.
Yeah.
Right?
To be honest,
a lot of people bitching about. Go ahead.
I don't even love Thero, but I don't know if you would want him to play. If you're planning on betting Arkansas, I would much rather have the version of Trevon Brazile that we're getting right now, especially against Texas Tech. You need a little more mobility, a little more, I don't know, dynamic athleticism out of your bigs because they play no middle. So I would much rather have Brazile than a Adu Thero who may or not be healthy, coming off and giving you however many minutes on the bench or off the bench.
He has returned to his prime freshman form. He's looking pretty sharp right now. I agree. All right, back in the points here with Arkansas. Why don't we talk about Duke and Arizona a little bit here? Go to the top right sector of this bracket. Chat, let me know what you guys think about Duke and Arizona. How about Arizona when nobody expected this season? Then make a little bit of a run. They're taking care of business. You can thank Mr. Caleb Love for that one. And now Caleb Love, former UNC Tar Heel, has a chance to face off against his former rival, Duke, who I'm sure he wants to knock out, right? Duke's been on fire. Duke's been covering. Duke's been taking care of business. They've played the Mounts. They've played Baylor, and they have destroyed them both. They've destroyed every team they played this entire fucking season. I still kind of want to take Caleb Love in Arizona, but maybe not after that legacy performance he had last night. I mean, he was great. He was dunking. He was hitting threes. He looked like an NBA player. That was the good Caleb Love. Are we going to get him another game in a row? Maybe it's just his March. I don't know. But looking at the spread, Jovan, it's not making me, sprint to the books to want to lock in Arizona at this 8.5 price. But, I mean, what are they going to make them? 5.5 against the best fucking team of all time in Duke? Probably not. This Duke team is legit, and they are spanking their opponents. They're spanking them. You think the line is right here, or were you a little thrown off?
I wouldn't say I was thrown off. Maybe it's in a point or higher, or point or so higher than I really would have expected. Here's my thing, though, Krabs, because trust me, like I don't want to fade Duke in the spot. I really don't, because it seems a little too enticing, seems too easy. But when's the last time Duke's played a team with that size and physicality on the defensive side of the ball? So I'm looking. They sure as hell didn't face one in the ACC. Sure as hell did not, because there wasn't one there. Clemson is the closest thing to it, and they sure as hell do not have the size that Arizona had. Last time they played them is, I guess, the Auburn game, which they won, but obviously not in incredibly convincing fashion. But that's December 4th, so it's been a bit. What you're going to see out there from Owako, what you're going to see out there from Visar, what you're going to see out there from everything Arizona can throw at you is vastly, vastly different than anything Duke has faced. So even though I think there's a world where Duke still wins in convincing fashion in the end, I don't think there's a world where they do it from tip to finish. I think it's going to be a grind out of a game. Again, a lot more than they've seen in all of ACC play. So I might take like an under in this game.
Were you surprised to see Duke laying 8.5? Do you think that spread's right?
Maybe a point or so, if that. It's just, I don't really know what the books value Arizona at, because like they played earlier in the season and like Duke blew them out, but that was before Arizona made like the big defensive switch to their lineup. So I don't know how much you can adjust it given that, and given how much you've watched them play throughout the entire, I don't know, Big 12 play and then into the first games of the postseason now.
Yeah, it's a good point. I want to bet Arizona. I'm obviously scared, though, after Caleb had a great game. Milwaukee had a legacy game. A little bit worried that Arizona might be out of juice, but certainly lean Arizona's way, and we'll circle back when we get a little bit closer to that one on Thursday night. Okay?
Yeah.
BYU, Bama. Wow. What a game. What would you have assumed the spread would be at in this one?
Not this short.
Okay, good. Kind of what I assumed. And shout out, by the way, Crutch Bets, Boston Sports Stork. Sweet 16 round, going to be a movie. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jesus. Dill God coming in. Adam's got Whales coming in. Let's have a day for 18 months. W-Gents coming in with the subbies. Cannot let those get swept. We appreciate you guys. Hope you're having a great Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. Okay, hope you guys smack some plays. Jovan, I agree with you. I think BYU starting to get a little bit of line respect here in this spot. They opened up at 3.5. Don't love seeing them up to 4.5, 5 some places. I'm not, exactly shocked to see that, because if you put these two teams, next to each other on paper, most people are probably rolling with the Tides, right? But this BYU team's been a little more physical than they typically are in recent games. They're showing some heart. Now, I don't love how they finished that last game and had the dunk off the backboard, when time had run out. And I feel like the gambling gods probably don't like that, and they might try to smite BYU there. I'm not even kidding. Like, I literally am scared to bet them because of that. And I also just don't fuck with that at all. That's Bush League. Besides that, though, I want to take BYU here. And they have looked like a different ball club, Jovan. They've looked like their peak that we saw them at in the middle of the season when they looked damn near unbeatable. This year, they've kind of returned to that form, probably why they were opening up plus 3.5 against big and bad Bama. And I still want to stand on the take from preseason that this ain't Ma and Pa's Bama squads. They're loaded talent-wise, but something feels off, something seems off, and they're due for an L in this tournament. I think it could be this one right here. BYU, keep the points, don't need them. Hold them off to the sides. Let me get the Cougs.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking the Cougs at all. I mean, you were pretty spot on with your nobody liked Ole Miss take coming into this, and I stood on nobody liked BYU since before the Big 12 tournament started. So, I mean, now people are going to start to like them a little more after they just pulled off those couple wins, but I think they've got a little more still in the tank. So I would be down to soak a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that game got weird. They showed a little bit of their BYU selves in that Wisconsin game. They tried to blow it late. That scared me a little bit. Wish they closed the door a little bit more, but we'll take a win and we'll move. And I want to back them again against Bama here.
Yep.
Okay. 2 more games, chats. Weather delay in DC. Is that Gootsy running that? Yeah, if you're tapped in, Goots, your manager didn't even want to play today. He was trying to just take the day off. Yep. Coach Hyde didn't want to play. I guess the Nats did. They really didn't want it to be delayed. Yeah, I saw this on Twitter, so it has to be true. I guess the Nats had their gala tonight, so they didn't want the game delayed, but they still wanted to get it in and get some of the young guys work. The Nats still have some decisions to make with the roster over the next couple of days. We got Big Matty Mark coming in, resubbing as well. W Stream boys. So excited for these Sweet 16 games. Big Matty Mark, you're him. I'll say it. You're him. In chat, just wait till you fucking hear what Jovan told me and Goots in Vegas about my team. And I don't want to go over it. I don't want to spoil it. When Jovan's ready, he can bring it up on his own. Yeah, get your fucking popcorn ready, chat. Something I never thought I'd hear in my entire life. Insane. Yeah, I was also shocked too because he was in the opposite mindset. I really don't want to spoil this, and we'll move on. But you were in the opposite mindset about it, and now you flipped, and we're going to talk about it this week. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
All right.
Okay. Goots, why don't we talk about this Houston and Purdue game? And then we'll get to Kentucky, Tennessee, and then we'll get to Jovan's Goat Whale as well, which a lot of people in the chat want to see too. Houston, Purdue. Jovan, let me ask you this. Do you think Braden Smith and the Boilermakers have any juice left in the tank against the Cougs?
It's hard to say so, but I'm looking at all of these matchups, Krabs. Do you think there's going to be a dog that anybody wants less?
Let me scroll through again and look at the dogs to check the Carfax. Is there a
I can tell
dog that
you,
people are going to want to take less?
people are surely going to want to take the Crab Five. People are surely going to want to take Arizona with all those points. They're going
Yeah.
to want to crank hog.
Yeah.
They're going to want to soak with BYU. The Ole Miss line is probably the most obvious looking sharp dog of the weekend. I don't know. Maybe you can argue Michigan in like the 1-5 game, but I think there's enough hate for Purdue out there. What they've done to just overall not look impressive this year, and even in the games, the first 2 games, not look impressive at times, to where people don't respect them enough to the point where I don't know anybody who wants them.
Yeah, I mean, based on the rest of the dogs, you're 100% right. Nobody wants this Purdue team.
Would hate to say it because I am a Houston guy through and through, but I am a little scared, I would guess, looking at that matchup situationally.
Interesting point there from Total Slayer in the chat. Right? Kind of a home game, not really, but
I guess. Yeah, I mean it's in Lucas
it's in
Oil,
Indianapolis, so
which
relatively
horrible
close.
shit, by the way. I mean that little half stadium. I mean that's a nightmare to shoot at. So I mean I feel like you're putting yourself at risk, big time risk for one of those really cold Houston shooting games because of the way it's set up there. It's really weird depth perception compared to like an actual basketball arena. So we'll see how that ends up. But yeah, I guess that's the only part you could go back on.
I think Houston is the real deal. I like them to win comfortably, McKiffin says.
That's where my head tells me too. I just feel like everybody's all going to be in that same collective mindset, which scares me a lot.
Total is moving up, which is kind of fucking weird. I mean, Houston struggles to score already. Besides LJ Cryer, obviously, he's coming off a great game, but besides him, they already kind of struggle to score. They already got a guy banged up. God, you put him in that stadium, and the offense could be even worse. But Purdue up to plus 7.5 as well, and Houston catching some line respect. So I don't know. That game kind of puts my brain in a blender. I'm going to need to circle back. I cannot give a lean out yet there. I 100% agree with what you're saying. Who the heck wants to back Purdue? But it's still blue blood Purdue, although they haven't gotten it done. I'd say that's some respect on Houston with that line move. A little bit up to 7.5.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Let's frame it like this, Krabs. Do you think we're getting Houston, Tennessee in the Elite Eight? Because I don't.
We're getting Tennessee. I don't know if we're getting Houston's. Probably not. It is the chalky year of the millennium, though, like Hagon's is saying in chat. So maybe they have a chance, right?
It is.
Snacks is saying, I think people are out on Houston.
I don't think so.
I don't know if they're out on Houston. I mean, certainly scared after that Gonzaga comeback, right? But, I mean, LJ Cryer, he's doing just fine. Houston finally has a guy that could score, although personally, kind of think that's about it for Houston's offense. But
no. Houston's offense is better than I think people give it credit for this year. It's just, I guess the more of the sentiment around that game is more anti-Purdue than pro-Houston. It's just, it feels to me that if we're looking at the Sweet 16, the 2 easiest don't overthink it narratives are the Purdue party is over and Tennessee is getting their lick back after getting swept by Kentucky in the regular season. And those happen to be the matchups that end up in the same side of the bracket. Do we get both? In my opinion, I doubt it.
Okay. W Subband coming in from Xander 313. Let's fucking go. I'm seeing Pega in the chat as well, pinning the YouTube link. Looks like the boys got the YouTube up and moving. W Goots, W Pega. Appreciate you guys. Goats. All right. One more game to talk about here, and then we can move on, talk about some winners for today, and then get to Jovan's Goat Whale. Kentucky, Tennessee. Damn, some serious line respect here for Tennessee. I'm sure they're the 2 seed versus the 3 seed, right? But Kentucky owns Tennessee. Kentucky beat Tennessee twice this year when they played already. The last game they played, Florida literally left Tennessee wide open and said, beat us from the 3-point arc, and they couldn't. They dared them.
And that's what Tennessee did.
Dared them to beat them from the 3-point arc.
That's what Kentucky did both games they played this year. They said, outshoot us. You can't.
Outshoot us, right?
Yeah.
Dude, this Tennessee team laying this number to a team they've lost to already twice this season, in my opinion, is fucking nuts. I'll take Tennessee. I'll take Tennessee here laying 4.5, a great parlay piece as well, but I'll take the spreads. And I'll take Tennessee here to hit their threes against Kentucky for the first time this season. If they dare them to shoot them again, I want to buy low on Zakai Ziegler, on this Tennessee squad that's, never gets a job done, never shows up later in the tournament. Their coach is notoriously a choker as well in Rick Barnes. I want to back Tennessee laying this number against Kentucky, which I think is pretty ridiculous, knowing their, not only their history against Kentucky this season, Jovan, but their history as a team in this tournament in years past where they always find a way to fuck it up. Well, they're still getting some line respect laying 4.5 against Kentucky, a team that's looked really good of late. Really good. Give me Tennessee. And let me go ahead and remind you guys, Tennessee is my national champion this year. We'll see if they can get it done. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jovan, but this is still a team that has never made it to a Final Four, which is crazy in Tennessee.
That's
pretty sure I heard that. I'm pretty sure I heard that on the during the game the other day. Somebody in chat will correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. They have never made it to a Final Four. You have fun laying points either way with Rick Barnes. Yeah, Snacks, not for the faint of heart, not a fun play. But that's how you know it's probably the right side. We got Glodell Beckham coming in here. First-time chatter, came here for the MLB season Goat Whale. Sure. Love that. We're wrapping up the bracket here. Going over these Sweet 16 matchups. Jovan, we don't need to go over the Elite Eight or the Final Four, but I do want to ask you before we go. Remind the people who your champion was, pre-tournament, and who would you pick right now?
Well, preseason, I had still have two of the teams that are in the same side of the bracket down there in Florida and Texas Tech. Right before the tournament, bracket lined up for Auburn. So that's who I'm sticking to, and that's who I got. But I have a feeling game of the tournament is going to be the winner of the left sides of the brackets. Hopefully it ends up being an Auburn-Florida rematch or an Auburn-Texas Tech or something down there. But it's War Eagle for me.
Okay. I had Tennessee pre-tournament. I'm sticking with them. Loving this line against Kentucky, a team they've lost to twice this season. Jovan, I hope you're right about Purdue. Maybe pulling off that upset there. I certainly would rather face them than Houston. And then it comes down to beating Duke, a team that could not be more due for a loss. I mean, they just keep on getting better. So I'd be a crazy person to say that, that should be a free W. Certainly won't be. But I'll tell you right now, Tennessee will be getting weird line respect in that game. It'll be closer to a pick 'em once they match up against Duke. And hey, you never know. Maybe Caleb Love turns back into prime UNC Caleb Love and ends up handing Duke the L here. There is an L coming up on the schedule for this Duke team. Look, they might be the greatest college team we've ever seen, but they're still a college team. Let's not forget that. Okay, they are so due for a stinker, and even the best teams have stinkers in the tournament, right? This Duke team had the easiest coast ever to a conference championship through the regular season and now through the first couple rounds of the tournament. They've sliced through it like butter. Room temp butter, right? It's been the easiest season ever. That's not a team I want my coins on. That's not a team I want my coins on when we get closer to the end of the tournament. I want my coins on a team that has had bad losses. They've gotten them out of the way, but they've played greater opponents, and a team that's due as ma in Tennessee as well. I'll stick with them.
Sure.
Okay. Now this Duke team is different, Richie's saying. I don't disagree. They might actually be different. I know we say that every year, but they could actually be different this year. We'll find out. We'll find out. And yeah, Proctor is Steph. He might be. He might be.
The big problem is he's probably going to have to be again against Arizona.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see if he can run it back. W Subbanks coming in here from Pega, working hard. So let's go, Pega. Subbing up Billy the Kid, a goat in here, an LMNG burner. Sure. We appreciate you guys. All right. Why don't we move and groove? Let's get to the sharp report here, Gootsy. It's going to be a tempo and pace sharp report so we can get to Jovan's Goat Whale. Want to make sure we spend at least 15 minutes talking about that puppy or just having Jovan talk about it. We need to get these sell jobs and the plays. Stick around, chat. We're going to go over that puppy soon. All right, tell your friends, tell your buddies. But before we do, let's go over and power through the sharp report here, Jovan. I know it's not the greatest slate of all time, but that's okay.
Horrible.
We are going to make do. And there's a couple winners that I found on the board here that I think the people are going to like. All right? Chat, it ain't much, but it's honest work. We're here. We're showing up. We got plays. And I'll start it out on the ice. Very curious to hear what Jovan likes in this one, but I'll take the Blue Jackets down from plus 120 to plus 110 on the money line here on the roads, a team that's on a crazy losing streak. They've lost at least 5 games in a row. They're playing terribly. They've only won 2 of their last 9 games on the money line. It has not been a good couple weeks here for the Blue Jackets. They're coming off of getting crushed on the road 3-6 in their last game. Well, they've got an opportunity tonight, barely a plus chicken on the road, to hold on and get a big-time win as a dog against the Islanders, who I think are frauds. And they're coming off a loss. But before that, Jovan, they ripped off 3 straight W's. So the Islanders obviously played much better of late. The Islanders have beaten this team 4 of the last 5 times they played them. They kind of have Columbus's number when they face off against them, and they're home in this matchup. Columbus doesn't have a chance, right? But looking at the odds, they certainly do. Barely a dog? That piques my interest. Give me the Blue Jackets at plus chicken. I'll take the ML at plus 110.
Sure. I've played in that game too.
Right? Good. Let's swing it around and chat. No, you have not missed the Jovan Goat Whale. Stick around. We're going to go over that in a couple minutes. Okay?
Sure.
Points.
Yeah, goals.
Sure.
I guess we can start at the bottom since we're talking about the CBJ game.
Okay.
My little alarm went off when I saw the total go from 5.5 to 6. Not only because like CBJ, they've lost the 6 in a row, but the reason it's been that way is because of their offense. They had like the back-to-back shutout streak. They've scored like 4 goals in 4 of those games. It's been really, really bad offensively for them. Now, what happened in the last game against the Penguins, even though they lost the game, it wasn't because of their offense for once in this little stretch. They scored 3 goals. It was just really bad defending, pretty much all levels, horrible goaltending, a few just goals that simply shouldn't have been let in. But it was just a bad effort all around, but the offense picked it up. They showed some life finally. So, like, when I see this matchup against the Islanders and the total moves up, not only is it odd because CBJ, that was the first time they've shown any sort of offensive life, but these matchups with the Islanders soar under a lot. And it's because the Islanders play that tight defensive style of hockey. Like, is it the same this year because they haven't been nearly as good? No, but when these 2 teams match up, even if like CBJ gets the best of them, they have been very, very low scoring games. I don't think that's going to be streak. They did something on Saturday that I think is somewhat going to work going forward. I think they're going to be super aggressive in this game. Then they're going to be facing Sorokin, just coming off of a 38 save game that he just had against the Habs, where I think that game ended up going into overtime and they won. So he had a really good game, robbed them of a lot. I don't think you're going to get that tonight against the CBJ team. Of course, they've been desperate for seems like 2 weeks now, but now you're on the road. I mean, with nothing to lose against a team that you know is going to do everything in their power to bottle you up. Just be super aggressive. This feels like the game where they got to be, fast up the ice, get to the blue lines quickly, and just kind of throw them off of all sorts. Just be like really out of control, which CBJ has those games a couple times. So hoping they bring it out tonight, whichever way it goes.
Good, I'm confused. Are you watching the live game or are you watching a rerun on Masson?
I have Masson on. It's a weather delay, so they're running a Nats Classic.
Good.
And Soto is batting 6, and there's a graphic up, 19-year-old outfielder. He's batting 62, 14 home runs in AAA.
I still remember the day they called him up. I said, who the fuck is this kid?
I think
Strasburg
is on mound right now.
Wow. Dude, you're fucking blessed. You're lucky as hell to be watching that game.
Strasburg.
Oh, no, actually, it's Gio Gonzalez. Goat.
Oh, one of my favorite Nats.
Goated.
Who everybody hates, by the way, but one of my favorite Nats of all time. Hung out with him in the Diamond Club.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
A year or 2 ago. Hung out with him, got a picture with him. Yeah. Not surprised to hear the Diamond Club is packed up today, Gootsy. It's probably the crew getting their last spring training rips in here.
Yeah, too bad.
Their last warm-up rips. Yeah, no game. Are they going to cancel it? Just let me know if they do. I know the
Oh, well.
the O's don't want to see the Nats. I don't blame them.
I'm sure if it was canceled by now, they would end their broadcast, but they're still showing the field with the tarp on it. So we'll see.
Okay. We got life. We got a chance. Good. All right, let's keep moving and grooving. I like that over on the ice there, Jovan. A rare public under. I mean, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see too many public unders in any sport. I'm looking at the ice and all the games today. This is the only public under that has more bets and handle percentage, over 50%. Kind of weird.
Yeah,
And the totals
which is
moved up
odd
from 5.5
because not
to
even.
6.
I would even argue that it's. I know CBJ has been awful, but I don't know. Looking at the rest of the slate, I mean, Canucks, Devils, and Wild Stars are two incredibly obvious looking unders. So I guess I saw the splits the same as you did, and splits are splits. It's 2025, but to see them be a little more public and have more handle than those two games going under seems pretty insane.
Weird. Certainly weird. Pega, yes, Juan Soto only got called up, although he would have eventually, but because Robles got hurt, it was going to be Robles, who was our number one prospect at the time. Kind of hilarious. And LMNG Burner depends on the day, man. If it's a weekday, shitty opponent, Nats aren't playing great, you can get Diamond Club tickets for $100. But opening day, they're more like 400 or 300. Wide range. All right, let's keep moving to grooving, Jovan. We got a lot of plays to go over on the Sharp Report here. Okay. Can I take you to my beloved Queens?
Sure, you can.
Cool with that? Can I take you to the, what is this, the CBI?
Yeah.
I believe chat loaded slate today on the CBI. Don't let it get swept. Okay. Give me Queens, a team that's still, playing their butts off. This team is working their asses off. They're playing hard. A recently turned D1 squads, right? They still have the same coach who's been killing it, and they're a covering machine right now. I don't think they're done. They just pulled out a big-time win against Northern Arizona, a team that doesn't play like a defense, although Queens really doesn't either. That worked out pretty well for them. They won that game by 7 points. They're going to have a tougher test on their hands tonight against a Cleveland State team that plays a little bit more defense, but thought that total was kind of high for a Cleveland State game. Thought that benefits Queens, which I'm sure you're going to talk about in a little bit. The total up a couple points. So I'll take this Queens team that does, people are worried about them playing back-to-back games. I'm not worried about day 2 of a tournament or day 2 of a back-to-back. I'll start to get worried or sweat day 3, day 4, or, further along in these tournaments when these kids actually get gassed. One back-to-back, these kids will be fine. They got enough adrenaline to run through a fucking brick wall like the Kool-Aid man. I'm not worried about day fucking 2. Give me a break. Not with this athletic, great Queens squad, the Royals. You kidding me? I think they put up a big-time number offensively in this game tonight, Jovan, and maybe even pull off the upset. I'll grab the points just in case, but I'm feeling this game going down to the wire against Cleveland State squad that, typically they've been pretty solid. They win their conference. They go to the big dance, but this ain't your mom and pa's Cleveland State team. And this Queens team's playing great. They're still playing really hard. I think it's a solid matchup for them against a Cleveland State team that's not great offensively. I think Queens can outscore them. They can run the tempo a little bit too. That could help.
Yeah, 100%. I'm right there with you. And I like, the over for the same exact reasons, like you said. It's a big mismatch in tempo, which I guess in the actual tournament of March Madness, I love to lean towards the slow side, and whether that's just them as a side or the under. When it's the NIT or CBI, I love to go the other way because Queens is just going to be able to shoot over the top. Not just be able to, but like they're going to be forced to shoot over the top of Cleveland State a lot. Not only does Cleveland State play slow, but obviously they're a little better at defending the rim. They have a little more size and physicality inside than Queens is has or is able to handle on the offensive side. So they're going to be shooting a fuck ton in this game. Me backing the over is pretty much just me backing Queens, saying I think they're going to make more shots in Cleveland State and they're going to win that tempo battle and maybe Cleveland State up a little bit and force the ball to be turned over quite a bit because there's going to be a lot of those in this game too. So I'm 100% with you. I think this is a game where you're going to need a couple of those Queen shooters to step up and get some points off turnovers, which I think they do.
Yeah, and we will talk about this Queens game a little bit more in a little bit when we get to these squares. Okay, for now, why don't we swing it around, Gucci? I got one more straight bet for the peeps. W, first-time chatter as well. Don Father coming in hot. Appreciate you chatting, my man. Hope you're doing well. And W follows as well, Francisco and OG Green Thumbs. We appreciate you guys dropping the follows on Twitch. Remember, we're live on YouTube as well right now, guys. Make sure you're subscribed over there. Jovan, I got one more play for the peeps. Knock on woods. had some decent success betting on this rat shit team this season. The Wizards. I cannot believe I'm saying those words. Who would have thought? You know, Jovan, sometimes it's the little things, right? You got to Vegas, you get destroyed on the tables and and in the books. You come home, Wizards are favorites. It's the little things, right? You can't win them all, but you got to take the little wins and you got to move on. You got to stack them up. How about the Wiz Kids as faves today against the Toronto team? Jovan, what'd you say earlier? They're just winning too many games. Toronto of late, right?
They are.
I know they're on a 4-game losing streak, but before that, they were playing pretty good ball. Toronto was their best stretch of the season.
It wasn't even that they were playing like just great ball. It was that they were in a couple of these tank offs, like against teams that were competing with them in the lottery. They won. So it kind of fucked them up.
Jay Thorpe, I don't know why you're complaining. I think every time I give out the Wizards, good things happen on the Sharp Report. So let's hope that continues again tonight. Probably won't after I said that, but I'll knock on wood and give it a chance. Give me the Wiz Kids, who are now up to -2, Jovan. This AM, they were -1. How about -2 for the Wiz Kids against a Toronto team that just beat them when they played a couple weeks ago, excuse me. Toronto just beat them when they played last. And that actually was 2 weeks ago on the dot. Toronto's beaten them 2 of the last 3 times they played. Not like the Wizards are playing much better than Toronto over the last 4 games. We talked about Toronto on a 4-game losing streak. Before that, they were playing better, and they've kept some of these games tight. They've at least covered a couple of them. They've covered 2 of those 4 losses. The Wizards, on the other hand, sure, they were playing better. They ripped off 2 straight wins in a row. People forget that, like a week and a half ago. But since then, Jovan, I mean, they haven't sniffed a win. They haven't sniffed a cover. Not even close. 0 for 4 against the spread, 0 for 4 outright in their last 4 games. But they played some okay opponents. I mean, they played the Magic and the Knicks, at least. Give me the Wiz Kids here. Both these teams have lost 4 games in a row. I know Toronto's looked a little bit better of late, and Toronto certainly has the better record. They've got almost 10 more wins than the Wiz Kids right now. But I think we could all agree the Wizards are still playing better overall with these young guys out there, and they're still out there trying to prove something, trying to prove their and earn their role in the coming seasons here, right? Some of these young guys for the Wiz Kids, you're getting the effort that we need to see or that you want to see when you have your coins on a ratchet team, right? Toronto, Jovan, they might be starting to lose games on purpose here a little bit. The tankathon might be back on for the Raptors. Coach might have said, hold on, wait a minute here, guys. We're playing a little bit too well last week, and they've ripped off 4 straight L's in a row. You might see Toronto drop another one. And seeing the Wizards at -2 here, Jovan, I don't care if they're home. Looks awfully weird to me, especially considering both Pottle and Quickly are probably going to play after resting the other nights.
Yeah,
so they should be relatively healthy.
You never really know with the Raptors. So, I mean, I wouldn't count on it, but
they're
as of
both
right now,
officially
it
in.
seems like it.
Yeah. Set to play Monday from Jacob Pottle.
Yeah.
Available to play Emmanuel Quickly. Okay. Yeah, this morning they were questionable. Now they're good to go, is what it looks like. But
yeah, well, they've been just pulling guys for no reason to preserve them /tank.
Yep. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Wiz Kids pull out one more here. Okay. I know I'm late, but have y'all went over the Prize Picks flex? If you're talking about Jovan's Goat Whale, no, we have not. We're wrapping up the Sharp Report here. All right, let's keep moving and grooving here. Jovan, you got one more straight bet for the peeps.
I do. And it pains me to push the button, but I want to take the Lakers. And what's probably going to be pretty popular today. It's an obvious looking bounce back spot. They just got absolutely punked. The fully healthy version of the Lakers for the most part. You had Luka and LeBron playing, and they got 30 balled by the Bulls in LA. It was absolutely insane. You got the Josh Giddey legacy game. I think he almost had a quad dub. They gave up 146 points. Just absolutely horrendous performance in all fashions. Then you come back. Not to mention, I mean, they had a bad loss before that, but that was when pretty much nobody was playing. That was when Bronny had his legacy game because he was fourth in the lineup for a while. But playing a Magic team that is just always fucking sharp, dude, when you go play them at home. And really not at home. They've had some sharp spots on the road. And one of the sharp spots on the road where they came through was when they just beat the Lakers earlier this season in LA when they were sharp in the same spot. And I'm pretty sure that blew with Trent Fugazi. So now you get to see him again with the Lakers coming in. Pretty, important spot, it seems, for them to get stuff right going forward. The Magic have just been such an up and down team. Obviously, they're going to bring everything defensively. It's a tougher matchup, I guess, on that side of the court for the Lakers, but I really don't have a choice. I am tired of seeing the Magic be fake sharp and not get involved, so I will pay to find out if it's like that again tonight.
And I will join you. Laying 3.5. Is that what they're sitting at still right now? How about some 4s popping up? How about some 4s
sure.
aloof?
I would assume.
Yeah, they also just beat the Cavs on the road, Rav saying. Bryce Harper at the dish at Nats Park. Glorious. Sure. I'm assuming still in a Nats uniform, huh? Crazy good. Yeah, that's cool. Legendary lineup. They got Schwarber in that lineup too? Or was it before that?
I'm so certain.
That might have been after Harper, to be honest with you. That might have been a year after. Harper still has another good season than him. I'm excited to see Harper lead this Phillies team this season. A team that I feel like is getting a little swept under the rug this year. I don't know. We'll see if the Phillies can bounce back. Some of their stars had really bad seasons last year. Castellanos, Alec Boehm. These guys maybe a little distracted off the field. Not locked in.
Yeah.
We got a hype train moving to Griffin. Let's fucking go. We got Caleb Muse coming in, 20 months of Moose shit. Let's go, Caleb. Sure we can. We got YGF Taylor coming in, sub-anniversary, 35 months. Let's go, YGF. Beast. Let's go, Taylor. OG Green Thumbs already shouted you out, but thank you again for the follow. Okay? Let's keep moving and grooving here. Keep that hype train going, Chad, if you can. That would be a W. Phillies are going to suck, Snacks is saying. No way.
Yeah, they will not.
Adam Eaton in the lineup. Okay.
Adam Eaton, getting Nats goat.
I fucking love Adam Eaton, man. Legend. That dude stunk until we needed him in the World Series, and then he showed up. So you won't hear me chirping him. We got Ian228488. How about that combo? Coming in hot with a resub as well for 30 months. We got a hype train moving and grooving. Let's go. Chiote in chat. I'm about done with the Aggies completely. I'm about to hang up my Aggie ring after this weekend. I mean,
just horrible.
Chiote.
Horrible.
Whoa. First off, Geek Goot. Second off, we just got 20 sub bangs coming in from Yay Lads. Are you shitting me?
Wow.
Yay Lads. Yay Lads. No way, Yay Lads. What parlay did you hit, bro? Let me know. And how did Zach the Demon not get one? That's okay. How about a 20 sub donation from our guy, Yay Lads? Let's fucking go, dude. Yes. What a beast. Yay Lads, where you at, bro? So goated. Holy smokes.
Goated.
DJ Fitz. Good
Let's
to see you,
go.
my man. All right. Let's keep moving to grooving. I want to go over these prize pick squares. Okay. I think we went over all the book plays. Talked about Queens. You talked about that over. How about Chris Ashby, who I believe just set the Queens record for most threes in program history. And I saw somebody in chat roasting Queens for losing to a D2 school earlier this year. I couldn't give two hoots. I care about right now and today, and that was before conference play even started. So this Queens team, they look solid right now. Love their coach. I've been betting on this team since they got called up to D1 a couple of years ago. And their best player this year, they've always had a stud guard. This year, it's Chris Ashby, the senior, who I don't think is done yet. Second best player on the team. His points projection is higher than his season average. Not by much, but by half a point. Could be good for the over. Could be good for Queens. Could be good for Chris Ashby showing up today and carrying the weight. Luckily, look, I know this Cleveland State team, they're not as great offensively. They rely a little bit more on their defense, but they stink at defending the three. They're ranked 200 plus at defending the three this season in college basketball. So not really worried about their three-point defense, and that's how Chris Ashby gets his. After a big-time game behind the three-point arc in that last one, going to back him more than 13.5 points in the game. Jovan likes the over. In a game where I like Queens, Ashby's dropping 15 plus. If he doesn't, we're both losing those straight bets. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then Jacob Markstrom, less than 2.5 goals allowed, completely greened out square. Had the fades, and I've had much more success, knock on woods, on the less than greened out fades than the more than tails, I guess, for the goals allowed. In the goals allowed category on prize picks. So going to take the less than on a completely greened out square here in the Devils game. We'll see if they stay hot. The less than goals allowed squares have not had as much luck on the more than. So we're going to stick with our gut here, trust our gut. and stick with the play here that I'm loving, and it's a greened out play on the ice, and Jacob Markstrom backing him to do well, actually, and taking us less than 2.5 goals allowed when he's been quail shit.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Total in that game is
He's
at
been-
5 flat too, Krabs.
No way it's that low.
Really low. Yeah.
Wow. It's kind of shocking. I mean, I've certainly seen lower totals, I feel like, this season than I've seen a lot more 5.5 totals this year than last year, at least 2 years ago when we saw all those overs, but that's pretty weird. Seeing
Don't know if I've
total.
seen 5 flats outside of playoffs.
Okay. 5 flat is crazy. J Thorpe saying, let's go.
Yeah, really.
And I do believe we have a surge stream chat as well. So stick around. Less than 30 minutes. Less than 30 minutes. Get those sell jobs ready for Trent. Okay. Wow, Pega. Pega's actually him. He must have hit some plays this weekend. Giving out subbies. We got Z Shrek coming in hot, getting blessed with a subby from Pega. You're a beast, bro. You are a beast. We appreciate you. All right, let's keep moving to grooving. Jovan, I want to see your prize big squares that you're cooking up. What do you got?
Yeah. Gonna have to reopen this case once the line reopens because I kind of assumed that one of, if not both, of McCollum and Zion were going to be out because of back-to-back, and that's what happens with the Pelicans. Rarely do one or both of those guys play back-to-backs, but we just got the news that both of them are not playing. So I assume this is off the board and it's going to reopen at some point. But Jose Alvarado is just so set up perfectly to be absolute pork in this game. And he does it with assists, which, I mean, couldn't ask for a better matchup than the Sixers right now with this current squad. They've just been absolutely horrible on, every single side, but especially, allowing point guards to facilitate. So he's going to grub in that area. And then he's just going to be super aggressive because nobody else really has the power to with that lineup they're going to be throwing out there today. So it was super low to begin with at this number, but when it opens up at whatever inflated number we get, I am still taking it because I think he's going to be absolutely pork tonight. So I'm so in on that. And then the brotherly Booper Bowl, I don't love to take a point square in a game that has a total that low, but with Luke Hughes in this new offensive role, I wanted to take something Luke Hughes in this game, and like it's either this or his SOGs. The Canucks have been fantastic at not allowing D-men to rip on them, and Luke Hughes in this new role has been quarterbacking the power play or PP1. So he's been on that line, but he's also just been facilitating. And the Devils have played a more concise style of hockey since Jack Hughes went down. So, like, this is all everything that they've ever wanted and the role that he's ever wanted. So, like, I think if the Devils do score a couple goals, which I do think they do, I think they win the game. I think he's going to have to be a part of it. So, again, I don't think this is a big, wide open game that's going to end 6-3, but I think from a facilitation standpoint against the Canucks, it's going to have to go through the back and Luke Hughes, especially because not only is he like forced into this new role where he has to be good offensively, they're just down so many other D-men that nobody else can really create back there. I think it's the only way the Devils are going to score in this game. So gladly give me some Luke Hughes, even though I don't love goals in that game.
Yeah, weren't we just talking about that under? Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the Devils win, Jovan? Billy's asking in chat.
I do. I just hate the minus 140 Devils. Mikey Over system always lingers in the back of my head because they just love to make it as tough as possible.
Okay. All right. Curious to see what Alvarado ends up opening back up to.
It's probably low 20s, I would have to think.
Chat's saying they see 21.5 on the books.
That can make sense.
Okay. All right. The coach just threw a prayer under the bus. The Devils coach. Oh, threw a player under the bus. I was so confused. Okay. Yeah, I don't love that. You got to take the blame for your fucking players playing like shit. That's what the coach does. It's job number one. You take all the blame.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep moving and grooving here, chat. W squares. We do have something big to get to here, and I want to make sure we have plenty of time before the squad rides for Jovan to go over his goat whale. Are you ready?
Yeah. And Goots, can you share screen so I can see it of what's on board? So I think it went away.
Oh no.
At least where we can see it on, or we can see the screen on Ninja, potentially.
Yeah, I see it.
You see it?
I see the two cams.
Yeah, I see the two cams. I don't see anything else.
Let's run it.
Sure.
Can you see that up there now or no?
I cannot.
Okay. Super weird. Let us know what you want to do, Jovan.
Let me see if I can see it. I guess I can see it now because I have the Twitch stream up, but we're good now since the people can see it. This is the whale, fellas. Starts with DeGrom. Obviously a health bet, but he has been dodging this surgery. He's dodging some kind of surgery with his arm for God knows how long. It's been a solid 7 years. He finally got it, and one of the reasons for a lot of his injuries throughout this year has been both because he's been avoiding the arm surgery and he's strictly been rehabbing, or he's been doing other things and kind of changing his rotational slot, changing his arm slot in 50 different ways and compensating, and then it leads to a lot of other injuries. Now he's finally got it. Not only that, but he's also scaling back his velocity to try and become, I don't know, trying to get more length, and they're limiting his innings too. So like he's going to be full go for a shorter period of time, looking for longevity. When you're scaling back velocity and looking for longevity, and you're a pitcher with DeGrom with that type of command, you're damn right I will back you, especially when you finally got over the hump and got your surgery. So I think he's going to be dominant this year. Again, obviously it's Jacob DeGrom. It's a health bet, but I don't think he's been in a better spot to be healthy for an entire season. And, you know, the team hasn't bought in to help him get there as much as they have this year. So this is finally the year, in my opinion. So Jacob DeGrom, we're taking his less than 3 ERA. Fernando Tatis, which he's a very interesting guy. He got hurt, obviously, at the beginning of last year. He only played just over 100 games. But if you look at some of his advanced numbers and metrics, that was one of his best seasons. And by the numbers he's put up, you know, in the expected category, like if you look at his exit velocities, you look at his barrels, you look at his XBA, all of those are career highs, like going into this year, or from last year going into this year. So his numbers looked really damn good over the past year. He was one of the most unlucky hitters in baseball last year. And again, if you were able to put a full healthy season together, a lot of that season he was managing his injuries. You know, he had 3 to 4 throughout the course of the season. The leg one was the big one. I think he would have had a really, really damn good, damn near MVP level season, but obviously we didn't get the opportunity to see that. I think this is the year that he puts it together and has a really good year. His numbers really, he's been on a positive trajectory for the majority of his career, -1. But if you look at a lot of his expected numbers that you saw from last year, even while he was dealing with the injury and he was hurt, it was the same as his 2021 season that he was breaking out and he had obviously taken the league by storm. So I think we get one of those years again. I'm fully in on Tatis. I think he's going to be an absolute monster this year. On to the Tony Taters of the year, hopefully. I'm going with Rhys Hoskins, which I think we all collectively forgot about. And again, part of that's because he's been a little banged up, but he's also in a lineup now, or was in a lineup in Milwaukee, where they always seem to have one guy that emerges as the big power threat and just has a season that exceeds all expectations. Last year it was Willy Adames. William Contreras also has a fantastic year. Now Willy Adames is in San Francisco. William Contreras, is he going to do it again? I don't know. It seems like there always is a rise of this power guy in Milwaukee. And frankly, as good as I respect the rest of that lineup and a lot of the young guys in there, whether it's Jackson Churio, whether it's, I don't know, Garrett Mitchell, even I think is going to have a much bigger role this season. A lot of these guys, there's not much thump in that lineup besides William Contreras on a very consistent basis. And I think there's upside for a lot of those guys, sure. But the one guy that I think we kind of discount because he was coming off the injury last year, he wasn't fully healthy. Then he started to pick it up. He's looked really good in spring training, which spring training stats don't mean shit. But when you see a guy like Rhys Hoskins finally put it together with a healthy offseason, I think it's something to pay attention to. So I think he's going to have a massive year in Milwaukee. And again, I always like to ask myself the question because the Brewers are built very similar to the Rays. They always have a way to figure it out. Obviously, the Brewers and Rays do it from pitching standpoints, but their offense scrapes them enough to really be a contending team. More so the Brewers and the Rays. They've had more down years than the Brewers have. But there's always the guy that emerges, and it's just the guy. I like Yelich. I don't think he has the thump anymore. William Contreras just had his fantastic year. Willy Adames is gone. Jackson Churio is going to be the guy, but I don't think it's going to need to be in the power department. Rhys Hoskins, give me a full season of being the power guy for this lineup. So I'm taking his more than 21.5 home runs. Did you think there was going to be a Nat in the Goat Whale, Krabs? Ever?
I certainly didn't until you brought it up to me a couple days ago, obviously. But before that, I had no fucking clue. I had no idea. I was shocked I was shocked to hear it pleasantly.
Yeah. So I'm taking a stolen bases. I like the Nats this year, and we can talk about that in a little bit, or maybe we'll talk about that on a pod or in the next couple of days or whatever it is. But the reason their whole approach this year seems to be set everything up for James Wood, which is fantastic because he's going to be your guy to hit with runners in scoring position. At the top of the lineup, you're going to have some combination, depending on the lineup or depending on the matchup every given day, of CJ Abrams and Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz, not only is he a guy that, in a very short sample size, got nearly half this line last year, but he's a guy who's built on speed. And CJ Abrams tends to let you down in certain matchups or certain departments or whatever. You're going to need guys in runners in scoring position or runners in scoring position for James Wood. Dylan Cruz, I think, is going to be that guy, partially because I think his approach at the plate is pretty important coming into this year because he's a great fastball hitter, one of the best young fastball hitters in the game. Horrible breaking ball hitter, or at least he was,
Correct.
and going into college and even in short sample sizes last year. So coming into this season, he's simplified his approach. He is not shy to hit the ball the other way. Obviously, he can pull it with power as well, but he wants to generate base runners and he wants to be a runner in scoring position for James Wood. He's come out and said that explicitly, and he's also come out and said explicitly, I want to steal 40 bases, which everybody wants to do everything statistics wise. But when it's guys that come out and say, I want to steal.
Ferrari.
Yeah, I want to steal X amount of bases is the one I will take at face value 100% when it comes to baseball. Just like Ellie last year came out and said he wanted to steal 80, and obviously he was going at every single moment. But when it aligns with kind of the organizational or I guess managerial strategy for your team and top of the lineup, when you have a guy like James Wood and other run producing guys behind him, I think it lines up absolutely perfect. So he is hopefully he's going to be Bobby Witt and Ellie for us this year, Krabs.
I just hope the game plan stays relatively similar to the last 2 years where they still try to steal some runs on the base paths. I hope that the team getting older and these guys getting called up and us starting to ride with some of these younger goats, I hope that doesn't turn into Davey Martinez being softer on the base paths. I hope they keep that up the same way they've been doing it because that's been the main factor of this team scoring runs and winning games
100%.
over the last 2 years. I really hope they don't take that away. Am I a little bit concerned? Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. Do I think it goes from the amount of stolen bases or stolen base attempts they have now down to 0? No, it's not going to go from 100 to 0. If anything, it'll go from 100 to 80, right? Or, number 1 most stolen base attempts to, number 5 most stolen base attempts. And with a guy like Dylan Cruz in a bounce back season who didn't get on base nearly enough last year in that, minimal debut, a guy who retooled it to put the ball in play. And look, I give Darnell Coles a lot of shit, our hitting coach, but if that's what Dylan Cruz is trying to do, Jovan, he came to the right place. Taking the ball the other way, hitting the ball on the ground, hitting the ball hard, not pulling the ball much. Darnell Coles is the perfect hitting coach to work with. If that's the case, now I rip my hair out when Darnell Coles tells a guy like James Wood to do that. But, with a guy like Dylan Cruz who did not do as great getting on base last year, I love that, Jovan. And I think it'll work. Get on base for James Wood to bring you in, but steal a base or two while you're on the paths as well, while you're at it. Why not?
Sure. Absolutely.
And look, he might not get 40. Okay, but 30? I think 30 is very realistic.
I think he
and that's all you need.
Krabs.
Okay. If he gets 40, that means that his bat is, what we expected when we drafted him. And that's what we need. Because that means he's on the base paths. He's on the bases like a fucking animal, like a leadoff hitter, like the star, number 2 overall pick from LSU that he was supposed to be.
Sure.
He better be able to hit the fucking curveball. He's been working on it all offseason. He better be able to hit it.
Yeah.
Put the ball in play, bro. Put the ball in play. Darnell Coles could be just the guy to get him to do that.
Sure.
Okay? Get on base, and they're stealing.
Yep. And after we get number 27 or number 28 from Dylan Cruz, wrap it up with some Hunter Green turkeys, which we're going to be sweating all season. Incredible year for Hunter Green last year. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Reds. This is my guy. 2.75 ERA last year. I believe he ended up in the Cy Young final voting in the top 3, or maybe he was just outside of that. I was mistaken, or if I'm mistaken. But he had a great year, but he had a statistical anomaly of a season, which was really, really weird. So like Hunter Green, like we've seen the past 2 years, like in his first years in the majors, he had 4.44, 4.82. Home runs, massive issue. Home run per 9, over 1. He gets barreled up a lot. The strikes and the swinging strikes and all of the whiff stuff is always going to be there. with Hunter Green. The problem was the 2 years before last year, he got barreled up a ton. He gave up a real home run problem. And obviously playing in Great American Ballpark kind of sets you up for that. It's really tough when you're at home, but he got barreled up everywhere. Last year, which was really, really strange, he was not getting barreled up at all. But when you look at all of the guys that have similar barrel rates around him, they're all ground ball pitchers, which is something that doesn't really happen. So, like when you look at all the guys that generate a lot of soft contact, you have like your Christopher Sanchez of the world, like even like dating back a couple years, like you've had like your Alek Manoahs that are like in this category before he turned into absolute turkey, like all of the pitchers that you know as sinker ball guys. Hunter Green, fastball dominant pitcher. He developed like a splitter last year, and it was a big part in not really generating like much whiffs, but like he got weak contact off of it, kind of kept hitters off balance for a bit. So like the fastball was a little more effective in that way. But he just didn't get barreled up. He got very lucky. He was the luckiest pitcher in baseball last year by quite a few metrics of hard hit, barrel rate, everything. He was fantastic. And again, like the strikeouts are always going to be there. He's always going to have that crutch of whiff stuff, but he kept hitters relatively off balance. Now, after a full season of seeing that, and by looking at this projection, which has bounced between like 3.6, 3.7 for the entirety it's been out after, a 2.75 career year, something's got to give, especially playing in Great American Ballpark. I don't want to say it was a fluke of a year for Hunter Green, but I think you're going to see the real boom or bust like capabilities because it was largely boom last year. The strikeouts were amazing. He was having dominant outings. Now I think you're still going to see that level of strikeout stuff and whiff stuff, but you're going to see a lot more loud contact come with it because he was somehow able to avoid that last year, but the indicators are there to show you that that is not at all sustainable. He had a home run per 9 that was 0.7 last year, which for Hunter Green is a ridiculous number. For any like big time fly ball pitcher, that is a ridiculous number. So I would be stunned to see that number not return to what we saw the first 2 years. So taking us more than ERA.
W. Daniel, as always, with the graphic. I hope you're in here listening.
Of course.
It's fire.
Goat.
Looks so good. Jovan, I've already locked it in. The link has been put in the chat as well. Cannot wait to sweat this shit out with you all season. I think I saw a chat in here from Billy the Kid. Yes, this season is going to be a cinema. I agree. I'm not very happy with how I attacked the college basketball season. I'll be honest with you. Not enough content, not enough winners. And that's going to change come Thursday, and I'm going to make it up to you guys. I don't feel good with how I've done this college basketball season, content-wise, bets-wise. I'm going to make it up to you guys starting on Thursday, and we are going to have the greatest MLB season we've had here in Bookit in 3 years. We are going to have great live streams. We're going to be sweating out nerfy-yerfies during the show. We're going to have plays and squares for you during the show because we got baseball on during the show, which is the best time of the year. Okay? We're going to have night sweats. We're going to have MLB The Show streams. We're going to have it all. And I cannot fucking wait. All right? Let's have an absolute year. All right, Jovan, I cannot fucking wait. I've already locked it in. I was going to say I cannot wait to tail this puppy. I've tailed it. That bitch is in there. All right, and the link is in the chat for those who want to get involved as well. And yes, KBO as well. Ryan, thank you. Keep me honest.
Yeah,
okay, we got a 24-hour stream coming up here soon. I'm going to talk with Trent about that this week. We'll get that on the books. The KBO is here. Let's have a fucking season. Okay, let's have an absolute year, making great content, having great shows, hitting bets on the diamonds. Why not us? Why not us? Okay,
let's go.
Krabs, Trent is on 14 in the ranking in the Bookit bracket, by the way. How about them apples? Yeah. Pega, if I think any more about how square this year's been in the brackets, I am going to bang my head against the desk. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to start thinking about baseball. Very excited for Thursday. Can't think about the square ass bracket anymore. I can't do it. I will lose my mind. Can't do it. I will see you guys on Thursday when it comes to CBB and for baseball, I guess, too, because we got fucking Sweet 16 starting up on Thursday on opening day as well. Can't make it up. We're going to have both. Don't you guys fucking worry. But can we take a day off of CBB today? Jesus. I already went through the whole bracket. I can't think about it anymore. Good for Trent being in the top 15 W's. Hey, my old roommates in my buddy's pool who knows the least about sports, bless his heart, my old roommate Sam, he's in first place in 99th percentile this year. Dude doesn't know a lick about college basketball. It doesn't matter. That's not what March Madness is about, right? That's typically how it goes, Jovan. That's not what it's about. Okay, I stand on this take. You can't be sharp in March. Don't know why I thought I could go out to Vegas and get sharp in March. It doesn't work. Just click the teams you like. Click the button. Okay, it's chaos. It's absolute chaos out there.
McNeese Cowboys, pretty sharp Krabs.
Yeah, the first time. And then I bet them the second time, and they forgot how to play. Cannot make it up. Yep. Shout out Clemson Good. Shout out Lipscomb as well.
Dude.
Good.
I can't believe Rav literally walked up to me and just showed me his Clemson first half ticket pregame. I can't believe that happened.
Literally hit 2 I'm him parlays, so I'm back.
Just horrible.
You guys should have heard Goots screaming from the mountaintops, yelling that he's him after he hit a parlay. I wish if I could bottle that up and sell it, you guys would all be buying it. It's incredible.
Shout out the Bucks, minus 300.
Yep. Good. Great play. Mid-majors need not apply to round 2 of the tourney. Yeah, Richie, I'm trying to figure out what that means, but I think what you're trying to say is the mid-majors are kicked. They might be. They might be. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Jovan, great-looking goat whale. Excited to sweat this puppy out with you over the next couple months. Okay? I'm surprised to see you took out your guy on the Rays. That's the one thing I'll say. I'm surprised to see you took out your guy.
I think a lot of people were. That will be
the final decision.
It was the final decision. I mean, to be honest with you, like it was my least favorite out of the hitters because I like Reese a lot more. I like Cruz. I like the Tatis angle a lot. The balance of the entry just feels better with 2 pitchers in there, just like, I don't know, whatever the last couple of years, but I do want to keep it for a BTL goat whale. It's just his with Junior. I don't want to buy into spring training so much. He's looked good at some points, but he's looked absolutely horrible at some point. What I was hoping to see from him in the spring a little bit, because his problem is swing decisions. He's just absolutely horrible plate discipline. So like he had to show me something there. I don't know that he has. He's shown me the power, which is cool. It's just I didn't have as much confidence as I think I do in the rest of the hitters in the entry. So I didn't want to force it in there just because it was my guy. Still love the square, but I didn't love it over those 3 or 5.
And that's extremely fair. Don't force it just because he's wearing a Rays uni.
Yeah.
That could end up being a smart move. Let's hope it is.
Yeah.
Only one way to find out.
We'll still be taking it, though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Hey, we'll keep that back pocket when we craft up the BTL go well. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right? We got plenty of backup squares. I got that note sheet. And I'm sure you've got probably 30 squares as well that you were, considering. So we got some work cut out for us. And chat, you guys let me know when you guys want to craft up the BTL MLB season goat whale, whatever works best for you guys. We could do it tomorrow. We could do it Wednesday. Probably can't do it Thursday because I'm assuming there's at least a day game, right? There's got to be some day games for opening day.
There's a lot of day games, opening day.
Yeah.
Plus, we won't even, I don't think we'll be here, right?
What time is the Rangers game? 4 p.m. Eastern? Yeah. Well, hey, we got 2 options for when we got 2 options for when we can craft the goat whale. We can craft it tomorrow. We can craft it Wednesday. Okay, the BTL goat whale. You guys let me know when you want to do it. Do you want to craft it tomorrow or do you want to craft it Wednesday? Let me know. Let me know. Okay. Curious to see what chat wants. I'm seeing some more tomorrows. I'm seeing some polls. Okay. Goots, do you mind? Can we run a poll in the chat? That would be pretty cool before we get to the squad ride here. Let's do a little 2-minute poll for the peeps. And then if you don't mind, you can run the squad rides. We're going to get to that as well. We got to crap that puppy up here before we get to the surge. And I know chat wants to see that damn train. Okay. We'll get to it here in a moment. Can we talk about the McClanahan injury and the Nolan trade? Peg is asking. Yeah, let's get Jovan's thoughts on McClanahan. Is he kicked?
It seems like there's a lot more hope now because it seems like it's just a tricep strain or whatever. So it's like best case scenario of him being injured. Thank God. So I'm hoping that doesn't linger too long. But they're planning on limiting his innings anyway. So if he's not seriously injured for more than a couple weeks, which is what it seems to going to be, then it keeps him on like normal schedule anyway. So which is fine. So I think they avoided disaster.
Good. All right. Could be the difference. in a better spot than when we initially heard the news.
Yeah.
All right, chat. Get those votes in. You got 1 minute to lock in your vote. When you guys want us to craft up the BTO Goat Whale, whether it's tomorrow or Wednesday, let us know. And Gootsy, if you don't mind, run that puppy. I want to see that damn squad ride train. All right, chat. We got 2 minutes to craft up a squad ride W. I know the slate today isn't great, but luckily it came with a couple plays that we like. Whenever the sharp report, Jovan, I feel like, as crazy as it is, might have to get the Whiz Kids involved.
Just might have to get the Wizards involved, Krabs. You know I'm down.
Let's get the Wizards involved, Gootsy, on the ML. What plays are looking to you, funny, Jovan?
I mean, we
What do you wanna
probably
put
have
in
to
this
go
pup?
Queens, right?
You know, if you like the over better, I wouldn't be opposed to putting the over in.
I mean, I like it for the same exact reasons. I would be down to, I guess, stick to a side instead of go to a total. I feel like we've had a lot of totals lately.
Okay. All right. Let's go Queens +4 is what I'm seeing now. Getting a little better number there. What about that over on the ice? Blue Jackets Islanders.
Yeah, down for
I
that.
kind of like that play. Why don't we run those 3? Let's see what
Sure.
happens. Goots, unless you got any qualms or any other plays to throw in the ring, I kind of like that 3-piece. Wizards. Let's go. We'll craft up that puppy tomorrow. W Goots, W Chat. Happy to do that. Happy to do that. And yeah, Adam, all over that Markstrom Square. W Adam. And W Squad Ride poll, guys. You got 3 options, 3 plays, 3 winners. I know the slate today ain't much, but it's honest work. 3 plays, 3 winners. Get involved. Click the right button, please. You got 2 minutes to lock in your vote. Wizards ML, Queens +4, and the over in the Blue Jackets and Islanders. Okay? 3 plays, 3 winners. Sure. Gootsy, what are you eyeing, man?
I think the Wizard squad ride would be funny, and I also think it's hitting.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. How often do you see the Whiz Kids as favorites in the Big 2-5? Does not come around often, folks. Does not come around often, folks. What's it going to be? We got a little bit of a fight here between that over on the ice and the Wizards on the ML.
Give Queens some love.
Wow.
Beloved Queens.
Hilarious fight.
Nobody wants Queens because that one guy came in chat, Money Talk Sports, like he was on the team saying they have no fucking chance, even though he's an alumni. And that should make us want to take Queens more. Remember, guys? Because fans of teams can't bet on their teams. Nobody. Haven't met one person out of the 8 bill.
Krabs.
They can.
We're saying this with Wizards in the poll, man.
Yeah, we are. That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, you like the play, Tuh.
Yeah.
It's not just me. Jack, get your votes in. Wizards ML, Queens +4, and Blue Jackets Islanders over 6. 3 plays, 3 winners. Get involved. We got the Surge stream starting up right after this. Chat, we got Trent firing it up as well. Please pitch him a fucking winner for today. We got NBA, we got hockey, we got plenty of winners to find. Okay, there might not be March Madness tonight, but we got CBI, and we got NBA and NHL. Please pitch Trent a winner. Stick around. And it looks like the squad ride is going to be the over on the ice, unless anything changes here last second. Oh, the over on the ice. Okay.
Usage.
Close one by 1 vote. Okay. We appreciate you guys. W stream today. All right. Excited to craft up the BTO Goat Whale tomorrow on the stream. Don't miss it. WTMA earlier today as well with Joshy and Mike going over the Vegas trip. We appreciate you guys. Trent, good luck crafting up on the Surge stream. Guys, pitch him some winners, will you? And we'll catch you tomorrow, same time, same place.